just really wanted to get this video up for you guys as soon as possible because I've been getting a lot of questions on my most recent video. So I wanted to... So this video is about college application advice and tips that no one told you, because I know while I was going through this process there were a lot of things that I'd never heard from anyone. To kind of give you guys some advice that I wish I'd heard, you guys need to know a little bit about me, a little bit about my background, so get ready because I'm going to tell you about myself. So I would consider myself a first generation college student simply because my parents were immigrants. I'm the youngest of 4, and the closest age gap between me and my siblings is 12 years. So they went to college in like a different time, and then so I live with a single mom and she works a lot. She's not from this country, so I didn't really have many people to turn to regarding my questions about college and how applications work, besides Google and occasionally my college counselor, but I didn't really feel like I could tell her everything about my situation. So pretty much I was on my own regarding this college application process, and there are a lot of things I wish I did differently, so I'm gonna tell you guys because I tell people every chance I get because I feel like this is so important. This is what we've been working most of our lives for. This is probably going to be the biggest accomplishment in your life this far. That's a little bit about my background, and just to tell you guys that even if you feel like you're alone or you're a first generation student or you're the child of immigrants, that you can still do this. It will be a lot harder. There are things I had to teach myself and I had to figure out on my own that a lot of people didn't have to. Things like that. Now I'm going to talk about my stats because I got a lot of questions on that. I wouldn't consider myself an exceptional student. Like, I'm not a terrible student, but I'm not like the best student in my school. So my unweighted GPA was a 3.6 and my weighted GPA was a 4.3. My SAT score, I took the SAT I think 2 times, and I believe I took the PSAT in school. I really don't remember how many times I took it, but my highest score was a 1290, which I don't like at all. So I decided to try the ACT really last minute. My college career counselor gave me a practice test and I got a 29 on it. So I decided to, run with that. And then on the actual exam, I got a 31, which I was okay with. I've pretty much taken the most challenging courses my school had to offer. AP chemistry, AP biology, AP physics, AP language, AP literature, all that great stuff. Extracurriculars, I was part of NHS, SNHS, but I don't really consider those because I wasn't in a leadership position. I feel like that's what's important. I was part of FCA. I played volleyball all 4 years, and in my senior year I was captain of the team. I volunteered at my church since freshman year. Over the summers I'd usually volunteer at summer camps to get us to sell hours. Summer going into my senior year I interned at a pharmaceutical company, so that looked really good too. Well, I also played club volleyball for 2 years. So yeah, that's pretty much everything you need to know about me and my academics. I should probably talk about AP exams. So freshman year I took AP US History. Don't really recommend it. I didn't know what I was doing. Got a 2 on the exam. Sophomore year I took AP Government. Hate government, never paid attention, got a 3 on the exam. Junior year I took the AP language exam. My teacher was phenomenal, loved English, I got a 4. And this year I'm going to be taking 4 AP exams. So now moving on to what I'd recommend for you guys. Definitely I'd recommend freshman year to take it easy. Take your required courses like health, PE, get those out of the way, boost your GPA, take challenging courses you know you're going to do well in. Maybe an AP course. I really don't think I'd recommend it freshman year because you're just getting started. You really want to have a good GPA freshman year to cushion your GPA for the rest of your high school career. So I don't know much about IB because I didn't do IB, so I can't really help you guys there. AP versus college classes, like taking classes at your local community college. In my opinion, I would try and do both because APs are great. I feel really prepared. It's challenging, it's fast-paced, rather than being babied and doing DBQs and stuff. I really don't like that. But you know, it's to each their own. Don't do anything you know you can't handle or you know you don't want to do. The point is to do well in these classes, not just take really hard classes to look good. I would recommend taking classes at your local community college or your local college if that's offered. I never did that, but I kind of wish I did to get those things out of the way, because for taking those courses, you know for sure that you're going to get credit at whatever four-year college you go to. Whereas with APs, it's whatever you get on the exam. So definitely talk to your counselor and see what options you have. Regarding my extracurriculars, what I'd recommend you guys to do, so definitely find what you love. I'd say freshman year, try out for all the sports you're even remotely interested in. Go to every club interest meeting and find out which ones you want to join. I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Find what you love and do it for the rest of high school. Get involved, try to be the best at it. And colleges will notice these patterns, because I feel like there's definitely an algorithm for college applications and selecting who they choose to admit. So, for example, I'm really into science and STEM and things like that. So I always took honors and AP math classes. I always took 2 science courses per year. All the tech classes I can. I'm in Science National Honor Society. I do like little science projects outside of school. So I'm sure when they saw that I have this thing called a spike, because I remember reading somewhere that colleges don't want a well-rounded student that's great at math, great at English, great at soccer, great at basketball, great at violin, and it's like perfect student rolled in one. They want a student that has something unique about them that they're extremely good at. For example, you could have average grades, average volunteer hours, just be an average student overall. But if you play the French horn, colleges love you and they want you to join, I don't know, is it band or orchestra? I'm not sure. But the point is, get a spike. And this isn't something you have to actively try and force upon yourself. Just find something you love to do, or something you're good at, or even something you want to improve on, and just focus your energy, your time on being the best you can be at that thing. So it could be research, environmental activism, social justice, or something. You can't just sit at home and watch TV and, you know, study and get good grades, but you have nothing that's going to stand out amongst all these other applicants. This is a competition, honestly. You're competing and you need something that's going to make you stand out. So definitely have patterns. And I know you're in high school and it's sort of a terrible thing to force a child to know what they want to do so early, but I think everyone has something they like, and I think you're meant to do what deep down you love and you're good at. So even if you don't know what you want to study, and try to be the best you can be at what you love to do. And from there, I feel like everything will fall into place, because you can see what you like and what you don't like. You can start weeding things out and focusing on certain things, and eventually you'll find yourself where you know what you want to major in. And even if you don't, you can still change your major in college. You can still follow a different path. Nothing is really set in stone unless you make it that way. So yeah, that's my advice on that. So another tip that I wish someone told me is how important your relationship with your teachers are, because you're going to be asking them for recommendations. And me, I am an introvert. I am very shy around people I don't really know. So I didn't really form close relationships with my teachers until junior, senior year. And I really wish I did. First of all, they're teaching the subject. They probably know a good deal about it. So you can ask them any questions if you're struggling in that class. They see you want to do well. They see that you're an engaged learner. They will take interest in you. They will help you as much as they can, because that's what they're there to do. Teachers have connected me to so many amazing resources, scholarships, internships. I was more active in their class. I showed initiative and I showed that I cared and I was there for a reason. And I hope this video doesn't turn out bad. Especially if the teacher teaches a subject in a field you're particularly interested in. Ask them for advice about college, this certain subject, this certain career field, and they will gladly help you. I've never asked a teacher for help on something that they were well educated on that they didn't want to help me with. What else can I tell you guys? Scholarship applications. Go to scholarships.com, go to Unigo, go to FastWeb. No matter how good of a student you think you are, if you think you're getting that Pell Grant, or you might get it, but you definitely want to have a backup plan. Set aside a certain amount of time each day, maybe like 30 minutes, just 30 minutes each day. You don't want to find yourself borrowing to get an education. That's a problem in itself, but It's not the topic of this video. Pinky promise that you will apply to at least 20 scholarships. It's not gonna pay for itself. Another tip I have for you guys is Socrates, know thyself. He said that. Don't quote me on that. But know thyself, or at least try. Again, we are teenagers. We are going through puberty, having many identity crises. It's hard to tell someone to know who you are. Make sure that's in your college essay. Make sure that's reflected in your coursework. You don't have to have a sad, sappy story. Everyone has a story. You could be living in the slums of a third world country and have a story. You could be living in a mansion in Beverly Hills and still have a story. Your Common App essay or your coalition essay, whatever, who uses coalition anyway. This is the chance you get to show colleges who you are outside of your grades, outside of your clubs, outside of your activities. This is straight from your mouth, so you need to make it good. I think knowing your story and knowing how to convey it to an audience so they're moved, because if everyone's story is so different, so unique, that is such an amazing thing that deserves to be heard. Hold up. I think you want to spend the majority of your time on your common essay. So in my Common App essay, I wrote about how, this is gonna get really personal. Let me move in closer. Too close. This is so hard to explain. I wrote about my life, how my dad was a diplomat, so we got to travel all over the world. One day that amazing life of traveling and luxury just wasn't anymore, and I was suddenly thrown into a world where I saw myself as a statistic, my eyes being open to the culture of hate and prejudice and stereotyping. So it was really hard because we had to move a lot when I was young. Eventually I stopped trying to make friends because I knew I'd be gone the next year. But we stopped moving and I had to go to the same school for 3 years. In my essay, I was like, I cannot keep wearing this cloak of invisibility because I'm here. I'm not leaving anytime soon. So I fell in love with science. At the book fair, I spent all my money on science kits. I realized that my looks weren't what made me, it was my work that made me. My first sentence was, I was born with chameleon skin. That was my first sentence of my Common App essay. Actually, in one acceptance letter, they mentioned that line, and I was like, hey, they actually read my essay, like, they actually read these things. Definitely don't procrastinate. I know everyone says this, so this isn't really something you've never heard, but I'm telling you don't procrastinate, but you're probably procrastinating right now, so, you know, if I could do it, you can do it too. Try not to do it, I guess. Can't really stop you, but now for the technicalities. This is my least favorite part. So, long story short, the CSS profile is a way to get more financial aid from institutions. You send in your parents or your salary information, tax information, and you can possibly be eligible for more aid from the school you want to go to. The catch is that you have to pay for this. I paid like over $100 for my CSS profile. Kind of wish I didn't. I would recommend it if you can get a waiver from your school or if the fees that go along with it aren't a financial hardship for you. Along with the CSS profile is this thing called a non-custodial parent waiver. So basically, if you live with a single parent like me, or even if your parent is deceased, you're gonna have to fill out this non-custodial profile waiver because the CSS profile requires that both of your parents submit financial information to determine what you're eligible for. My counselor didn't even know what it was. Funny enough, I only turned it in for NYU, and well, we know how that. And what goes along with this is having connections. Even in high school, you know, your counselors, like I said, your teachers, office secretaries, definitely be friends with the right people. So pretty much, if you know you've done your best, then it doesn't matter where you get rejected from. All you have to do is sit back and wait for that one favorable response. It'll feel all the more amazing because you know you worked for this. This is all you and no one else. And you did this, and you got there, and you made it. That's college application advice that no one told you. So original. And I'd like to thank you guys so much for the nice comments I've gotten on my reaction video. I really appreciate it. I really want to do my best to answer all the questions you guys have. Bye!